book study, when we had the book study groups. So that's when I had the opportunity to first meet her. And one of the things that was outstanding to me meeting her, a lot of the older ones, I'm quite sure here in the Kingdom Hall, remember a singer by the name of Nancy Wilson. The sophisticated, you're too young. The sophisticated lady is what her title was. So when I saw Sister Calloway dressed in her nice coat, and as you mentioned, her high heel shoes, and we're not talking Red Wings either, we're talking high heel shoes, that really impressed me from the appearance, just looking at her. This is really a sophisticated sister here. Dress well, real nice, walk real nice when we're in the Kingdom Hall, good comments. So she would do those things that really showed you, as you mentioned in your discussion, that she was one of Jehovah's servants, and her attitude really showed that.
Thank you for that. Now, when you think of her, what comes to your mind? You shared some of the things and why you feel that way. But what have you particularly learned from Sister Calloway?
Okay, I want to back up 1 second. She was in the book study group. A lot of you remember Goodie Night, right? And as you say, she was a good cook. And that's one night you did not want to miss when it was Goodie Night. So she was a good cook, as many of you probably have already learned. But the best thing that I learned from Sister Calloway was consistency, always coming to the meeting, having comments at the meeting, going out in service with their friends, the sisters, the brothers, and just living the life that a true Christian should live, being consistent with Jehovah, always supporting his organization, supporting the congregation, and really having a nice, humble attitude with the friends, and a generous attitude with the friends too. So those are some of the key things I remember about my dear sister.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, my dear brother. So we've talked about Sister Calloway, but how can we personally benefit from being here? Well, I invite you to turn your Bibles once again to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, because here's another fact. Whenever you have a diagnosis, you want to know what the facts are. What's the reality? What's the prognosis? What can happen? What do we need to do next? In Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 11, here's a fact. I have seen something further under the sun, that the swift do not always win the race, nor do the mighty win the battle, nor do the wise always have the food, nor do the intelligent always have the riches, nor do those with knowledge always have success, because time and unexpected events overtake them all. What's the lesson? The smartest don't always win. The most healthy don't live forever. But the last sentence says we need to make sure that we use time wisely, because unexpected things are always to happen. Now, Sister Calloway was an auxiliary pioneer, which means about dedicating 60 hours of door-to-door service, field ministry, time in field ministry, the month that she had a stroke. It was unexpected. Lives can change in an instant. Car accidents, health diagnosis, heart attacks. These things happen, and we don't know when. So what are we being encouraged to do is don't just count time, but make time count. Think about our own lives, and what are we doing with it? In the same book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, there's another thing to look at again, because we looked at this at the beginning, but coming full circle, Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1 says, a good name is better than good oil. The day of death is better than the day of birth. Better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting, for that is the end of every man, and the living should take it to heart. Better is distress than laughter, for the sadness of the face makes the heart better. Nana had a good name with God. Most importantly, she had a great name with Jehovah God. And she had a good name with us. We appreciated her. We loved her. The qualities that are talked about, that I've heard over the last couple of weeks. She's elegant, classy, sophisticated, fun, the best group mom. I mean, when Barbara was young, all the other young sisters would love to spend time at her house with Henrietta, as Henrietta gave them instruction and guidance at times, or just had fun. An outstanding cook. Someone was talking about her greens the other day. Hospitable. One thing about hospitality, like we have people over, but we say, hey, we got 10 people, you bring some salad, you bring something. She'd make all the stuff by herself and just say, what do I bring? Just bring yourself. Hospitable, always. A beautiful servant of Jehovah were some of the adjectives. Generous, Jane of all trades, who made beautiful things. And the thing I thought that was most profound to me is talking to her daughter, who was taking care of her, and Ed, taking care of her for 8, almost 9 years. The one thing they both said is that she never complained. She never complained. As an independent woman, for all these years and having been taken care of, she never complained. And when we talk about these qualities, but there's always stories behind them. So as we get together today, share your stories. Let's share our stories with one another. It will give significance to the term hospitality. Classy lady, sophisticated. Those stories are what make the name or the reputation. Those stories are what brings a smile to our face when we think of them. The things she told us, what she did for us, maybe what she made for us. Let's share them with one another. May we reflect on the name that we're making with God, realizing the reputation that we personally have right now is the one that we rightly deserve. You know why? Because we're the one that made it. We deserve it, whatever reputation we have. So if we need to make adjustments, let's do it. Let's do it. May we draw on this hope that only God can give us. May our faith grow ever stronger. May we nurture our living hope in our God, Jehovah. Praise be the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our trials, so that we may be able to comfort others in any sort of trial with the comfort we receive from God. For I am convinced that Jehovah has Nana in his memory, secure and safe in his memory. Until she hears that wake-up call, may we all be here to welcome her home. This time we'll have prayer by Brother Dwayne Price.